Jennifer, many people are watching those devastating images out of Afghanistan on television, hearing the stories on the radio, and they think there is nothing they can do to help out. Their hands are tied. What would you say to those living in Southeast Arizona?
Yeah, definitely connect with the resettlement agencies, Lutheran Social Services or IRC. They could be donating some of the furniture or some of the needs to be able to set up apartments. That's a huge way that they could be able to help as they're resettling. It's as simple as even in the grocery store when you see somebody who is from Muslim faith, just smiling and welcoming, making sure that we're being really good neighbors. But again, I would say that volunteering with us with Tucson Refugee Ministry and making those lifelong friendships with our newest neighbors is a great way to be able to really affect them for life, to really be able to welcome them and envelope them as part of our community.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Tucson Refugee Ministry? When was it founded and why was it established?
Yeah, Tucson Refugee Ministry was established in 2006, and it was really established because our founder realized that there were all sorts of refugees in our community. We've been resettling in Arizona since 1980, and that they really needed to be welcomed. They really needed to be able to be enveloped into our community.
And I would imagine you've settled people from many different countries over the years. Of course, now we're talking about the Afghan refugee situation. What is it currently happening right now with them?
Yeah, so a lot of our Afghan refugees here in Tucson are just heartbroken over what they're seeing with their country being decimated by the Taliban, with their countrymen trying to desperately flee. So, we've got over 3,000 refugees that have been resettled from Afghanistan in Arizona. And right now it's a really hard thing to sit and watch and, really wanting to, as a community, come around them and support them in this.
What are the biggest needs that the organization is facing? And the refugees, of course.
Yeah, for our organization, we don't directly resettle the resettlement agencies in Arizona do the resettlement part of that, but we kind of take over once they've been resettled. We come and we seek to build community and help to envelop them into community and really provide for practical needs, how to use our banking system, how to get a job, how to get your kids in school or driving lessons. So we really are seeking, once they have been resettled, to help them to be able to integrate into the community better.
And I understand you also provide emotional support because on your website it says that only about 50% of refugees are actually befriended by an American once they come to this nation. So therefore, I think you also provide emotional support, right?
I can't imagine having to flee my country with little or nothing and not have friends or family members around. Coming to a country that, post 9/11 country that didn't maybe have such a great view of Muslims, and then also fighting that view of that they're a different type of Muslim. They don't agree with the Taliban, that they feel like the Taliban has changed what their religion really is, and then, living in a predominantly Christian country, it's frightening. And so when they first come, just helping them to be able to practice language, to be able to gain their citizenship, to feel like they've got just a community around them.
Your website says that you want to connect the church with the refugees. How important are the volunteers in your group that work with these people that are coming in from different nations? And right now, Afghanistan.
Yeah, essential. Those volunteers, they are the heart and hands of the community, and they're reaching out and loving on the refugees, helping them, of course, with those practical needs, but really helping them to feel like this is their home. As soon as we fly in, we meet them at the airport with signs and balloons and say, "This is your new home. We love you. We welcome you."
Jennifer, there is an idea among some people here in the United States that refugees are supported and helped and kept basically on welfare for many years after their arrival here. What is the real story behind that?
Yeah, the real story is that they actually have to pay back their plane tickets. So when they fly over, they have a 10-day notice of where they're going to be resettled. They don't really know which country they're going to be resettled for. They have to pay back those plane tickets. They also, in our system, only have about 3 to 6 months worth of help. And I tell you, I have a 19-year-old son, and he's not able to be out on his own within 3 to 6 months with our help. And he has the knowledge, and he has the people around him, and he has the cultural experience, and knows how to get a job, and all of these things where they're coming really from ground zero. And so for them, that 3 to 6 months goes by very quick, and they definitely need the support after that.
All right, Jennifer Tompkins, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.